We are live.
I was waiting to see if someone spoke. And
we are live.
Welcome to episode 148 of Ripping the Rack podcast. I am your host, Tim. With me today is, well, I can't start up north because he's left the show. So we're gonna start on my lower left. He is the Coastal Crusader, Mr. Brian
What's
Athor.
going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Cowboys won. Good weekend. Texas won. Good weekend. Oceanside won. Good weekend.
So what you're saying is that it was a good weekend?
Football-wise for me, yes.
Okay. With us, we have a very special guest, and he is special, folks. He goes by DC. He goes by Dave. He goes, if you're in Halifax, he goes by Dave Chesterfield.
Yep.
I forgot that.
Yeah. So we have Dave Chestercove with us today. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing okay. Calvin has returned to the show, so
I'm here. I don't have an Angie to do my laundry for me, so I had to put my laundry in the dryer.
You were pooping.
Speaking.
I wish I was pooping.
Speaking of that, she's the laundry stopped. I should probably tell her that it's ready to be.
Angie, the laundry's done.
That would probably be bad of me.
You guys.
Well, we just have a story of Tim in the dryer the next morning, and this is what happens when you tell you have your Tim stories on. This is another story of Tim, and
I thought you meant a picture of Tim in the dryer after Angie stuffed him in there.
That's what I mean. It'd be the story of Tim in the dryer.
No, isn't that the step parent, the step parent in the dryer? Oh no, I'm stuck in the dryer. Wrong podcast.
Tim, you got to Google different things, man. There's lots of internet to look at.
None of it is safe.
No, not with Tim, at least.
Oh, I think Dave's regretting being on here already. I can kind of see it in his face. He's like, I really don't know what we're doing here.
We don't even.
I'll just wait till they ask a question.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Calvin.
What's up?
You want to start us off because you actually had a tournament.
Canada had a tournament. Who's excited? I am. I don't know if it's like the 5th or 6th or 7th Memorial, Robert Borden Memorial. I don't know. I think Sean Bernard's team won. I've never bowled this, so I'm not entirely sure how it works. But there's 2 divisions, and I don't know if they go head to head after. I've never been there, so if somebody in the chat knows how it works, but in Division 1, Jason Wilkins' team finished first at 14 points. Greg Maher's team finished second, also at 14 points, but lost in pinfall. Third was Bobby Joe at 12 points. Fourth was Matt Anderson at 10 points. Division 2 was Ryan Hoagie's team at 14 points. Sean Bernard's at 12 points. Century Honda at 10. Angela Paquette at 10, and Crystal Grandy at 10. So there was a 3-way tie. I don't know if they take top 4. 5th place, Crystal Grandy would have lost pinfall by about 40 pins. So that was good. And then there's a big picture of Sean Bernard's team holding the plaque. So it looks like Sean Bernard's team won. Again, don't have any like brackets or anything of how everything went. But that's what I have there. High average for the men in Division 2 was Barry Cody with an impressive 137 average for the day.
Wow.
Blake Balake finished second at 129. And then Melissa Sinton had high average for the women at 121. And Amy McPherson had second high average at 119. In Division 1, Gwinnell Duguay had the high average at 117. Ted Sinnis had the second high average at 117.5. Division 1 women, 114 for Sandra Coffin and 108 for Megan Holloway. So that was the tournament that happened this past weekend. Coming up in a couple weeks, Charlie Boyce Memorial is in Bible Hill. So get signed up for that. Battle of the Sexes, Avon Valley Lanes, September 22nd. Get signed up for that. And then October 5th is the big Battle of the Border at Woodstock Bowlicade. So hope everybody's excited for that because I definitely am. So that's Canada.
Wow.
Leagues have started up.
Canada.
It's great. I had my first 2 league nights, had a big whopping 358 and a whopping 320 something, 328 I think, or 332 something. It was great. Had a 94 no mark. It was fantastic. Felt great. Welcome back to bowling. Yeah.
So before we even jump into anything, I want to shout out what I believe should be the new female world record.
Yes, absolutely.
Massive string. Holy, I saw I was trying to find it as we were talking.
Still baffles me how you go 87, 90, and then 210. That's just.
Well, the score sheet was impressive. Like it should have been a 6 or 7 bagger. Like
she had a 9. It was a 9 drop. She had a 9 drop, spared it up. 9 drop, missed it. 9 drop, spared it up, and then went 6 bagger or 5 bagger to finish.
Yes, and by the way, folks, we're talking about Jenny Rowe. Jenny bowls out of Millis, Mass. So what I'm trying to do, here we go. I knew I could find the score sheet. Let's share that baby. Dave, while I'm pulling that up, what's your high single?
Me, 198.
Yep. 198?
Yeah.
Was that, did you have a chance at 200 or?
I did. I had the 3 little horsemen, the 3, 6, 10, and I carried the 3.
So
I needed to run them all for the 200, but oh well. Of course, I did that when I was 16. I haven't come close since.
Okay. So there's the string for those that can see it here. I don't know if anyone can see that, but started with 9. Went strike, 9-pin drop, another 9-pin drop, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikes in a row with an 8-pin. I mean, that's just a massive string. So congratulations. There's been no word yet, so I don't know. I don't know what the most recent update is. I do know that Danny and Caitlin, I know they've sent the video of it. I think they were able to find it on not surveillance, but the video they have. I guess it would be surveillance video, but they were able to find it, and I think they sent that into the ICBA. So I'm hoping, because that should be the new ladies world record. So should be.
Hoping we all get to see it soon too. That'd be great.
I've heard rumors of other potential world records that may or may not have been after the fact. Well, after the fact. Sanctioned. Well, after the fact.
Oh, Caitlin. Kate says in chat they came and checked the lanes.
Oh,
that's good.
Let's see. ICBA is reviewing the video, and then they came down and checked the lane. Perfect.
Sweet.
Perfect. I hope it. And so, again, congratulations. And then, not to be outdone, I know there was another massive string at Millis, like the next day or the day after. Okay, they passed inspection, so there's a good plus.
Sweet.
So, and I know there was another massive string.
It was 195,
wasn't it?
Yeah, there was another 5-bagger 195.
Who I forgot right off the top of my head on who it was. Do we know? Is it?
I think was it Doucette's brother?
Yes. Yeah, it was Jason's brother, wasn't it?
Jason's brother, yeah.
Yeah. And there was a video of the fifth strike. I saw that. Someone actually took out their cell phone and got that. So obviously some big strings down south of the Maine border. Shannon Scribner. Congratulations, Shannon. Mm-hmm. She set a lane record at Big 20. 684, I think it was.
Something. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. The first week of the season, there's people are mid-season form.
We don't have to stop down here, Calvin. We just don't stop.
Yeah, apparently. She had all 6 of my strings beat in 5 strings. I didn't have a 684. Crushed me.
Wow. So again, just some massive bowling. We've got some results from this weekend. Or I had results of this weekend. Actually, I'm going to jump before I get rid of it here. The ACBT playoffs. Playoffs. I can't not say that every time I hear playoffs.
I know.
Playoffs.
We're talking about playoffs.
So, first place of the playoffs, Chuck DeRozier took it all, won $1,000. Second place was $500. That was TJ Vereski. I don't know. Sorry, TJ. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Basically, what these guys want is a full episode of just me pronouncing names. And
I want you to go through hockey rosters and read the names.
Third and fourth place was $300. Caitlin Zoltko and Matt Goodell. Thank you, Caitlin. There, I'm not the only one. Let's see. 5th through 8th was Matt Power, Sharon Britton, Peter Penny, Chris Simmons. $200 each. And then 9th through 16th was Troy Fournier, Steve Kelly, John Hunter, Charles Park, Phil Clough, Kevin Dietrich, Leslie Kahane, Leslie something. My apologies. And Patrick Holland. And then, they paid 24 places, 17th through 24th. Sean Breton, Lane Britton, Rob Talbot, Mike Spinazzola, Kevin Martell, Paul Duvall, Sarah Wright, and Brian Hebert II. So congratulations all to that. There is, what else we got here? The Outrun the Bear Scratch. I'm going to bring that up right now instead of waiting, only because I'm going to lose this in a sec when I switch over to my Facebook. So, Outrun the Bear Scratch is September 21st, 9 a.m. registration, warm-ups, 9:30 first ball. That is at Ryan's Millis. It's max of 80 bowlers. It's $80 entry fee, $20 buyback for string 1, then increases $5 every round after that. Guaranteed top prize of $1,000. That may increase, will not decrease, but it may increase later. So if there's only one bowler, they will pay $1,000 to that bowler. So everybody, it's going to be September 22nd, and I'm going to go down September 21st to bowl.
Are you going to bowl?
If I'm the only one, I only have to bowl one string. I can do that.
Are you going to bowl anyways? You should. Go bowl.
I have given it some serious thought to actually trying it. So time will tell. That's
do it. You won't.
12 days from now. Payment due date is September 14th. We are not doing cash day of. No cash day of.
Pay your bills.
Cash, check. You can Venmo Danny. You can PayPal Danny. You can Cash App Danny. And the signups are via Google form only that you can find on somewhere. You can find it. Just having a brain crap on where they can find it. Candlepin chat. Thank you. Hey, it's been a long week already today.
This segment of Ripping the Rack is brought to you by Prevagen.
You were going to say that. So there is that. We had 2 tournaments at Exeter. And I'm trying to pull up the information. Bear uno momento, por favor.
Hey, listen, it was saved for you, okay?
I know, I'm trying. I got to find it. I got 2 different places to go. You send it one place, I'm usually not in that one, unfortunately. I thought it was in that one. I went wrong. There it is.
I guess you're wondering how I got here, folks.
Here it is.
Oh, he found it! Yay!
Found it. So we're gonna congratulate right off. Let's congratulate Brooke and Amanda for winning Saturday's ladies doubles at Exeter.
Good job.
No, I'm not giving them a good job anymore. No, they always win.
Well,
no,
they're good.
They're good.
Yeah.
So it should be just expected.
I know you're a Maple Leafs fan and you're not used to that, but
no, exactly. No, that's why I don't congratulate anybody who keeps winning.
And a Blue Jays fan.
I'm not a Blue Jays fan.
You are too.
I am not.
No, he's a Giants fan.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah,
he's a
I'm
Giants fan. Come on,
I'm sorry. He went to the Blue Jays. I just naturally was like.
I watched the Blue Jays because it's the only thing I can get. I can't really watch the San Francisco Giants because they're all the way out west. But I'm a Giants fan over a Blue Jays fan.
Yes, so congratulations, Brooke and Amanda, who beat out Bobby, Joe, Chase, and Mario in the final 2 strings. They had 24 teams. I'm not going to name everybody, but there was some good bowling. So congratulations to them. We had
Exeter mixed team.
Yes, I know, and unfortunately, Facebook does its thing when I switch between it. Wipes out everything.
We can just say congrats to Sonia because that's about the only person we like on that team anyway. So.
Well, I mean, I like Amanda. I like Sonia.
No. She always wins. We don't need to cheer her on.
I like Baker.
All right, maybe.
He always wins too, though.
Yeah.
He always wins too, though.
We want to cheer for the underdogs on this podcast. We don't like the people who win all the time.
We don't like the people who win up. So you guys don't like me?
Nope.
Okay.
You don't win.
You have to be active to win.
I win I don't miss a shot anymore.
Yeah, right. That doesn't mean you win. It just means you don't lose.
Hold on. Remember what the quote? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You haven't taken any. You miss them all, bud.
I don't think I like your attitude right now. I really dislike your attitude right now.
Checkmate.
So congratulations go out to obviously to Sean Baker, Amanda Carroll, Sonia Rossi, and Josh Daly. That was from my understanding, it was a very long day yesterday. It went something about they won the final 2 strings to force overtime and won the $10 roll off to win the $3,000. Second place was Maddie, Allie, Dave Barber, and Bob Wickham. They won. They came in second, earning $1,000. And then Nick Norcross got a straight spare combo in the 10th in the other roll off to win by 2 and finished third with Mario, Alicia Colley, and Danny Harris. Amy Doobie, Glennis McKinley, John Winchell, Joe Smith finished fourth. Dave Barber won the men's high average with a 136. Maddie won the ladies high average with a 123. So again, I wasn't there this weekend, but I will thank Rob. Rob does a fantastic job at Exeter. He to me, he's one of the top proprietors out there for the game. He does a great job. And again, thank you to Paul. Paul streamed, roughly 9.5 hours yesterday. So that was, and then they were there on, Candlepin Bowling Network was there on Saturday as well. So great job this weekend for there. That's a lot of tournaments early on.
So many.
Which is good. It's good. We got
and it all leads up to Worlds, and then nobody cares about the rest of it. It's so weird that Worlds is at like the start of the year, because it's so much excitement for just, even though it's at the end of the year, but it's like the start of the season, and there's so much excitement. It's just like, oh, Worlds is coming, and then Worlds is over, and then it goes, well, no, I don't care about bowling. Bowling sucks now.
until June, when you have a couple of tournaments, and
June, and then you have mixed Worlds.
Easter and stuff.
Yeah.
So a couple of upcoming things, and Dave, I really, you're talking so much. You need to calm down a little bit.
I'll try.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
we do have the Candlepins for Cancer, the Ladies Open Candlepins for Cancer qualifying rounds and top 5 live show is coming to Central Park Lanes in East Boston, Mass. That is on October. Qualifying rounds are Tuesday, October 15th, Sunday, October 20th, Saturday, October 26th, Sunday, October 27th. $80 entry fee. Unlimited shifts are allowed. Something new is a $50 re-entry fee. So I guess it's not going to be $80. It's going to be $80 and then $50 for a re-entry. Register at Candlepins for Cancer, the number 4, cancer.com. Walk-ins are allowed. The top 5 live show will be Saturday, November 2nd at 12 p.m. That is the Candlepins for Cancer. We have so much more, too. So much. But now my system wants to do its thing. So, yeah. It's
all right. Well, you figure it out. Let's talk Dave. Let's let Dave talk for.
All right, Dave, go ahead, talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
you're here for something. So explain what you're here for.
Well, as I'm sure the community knows, a group of us, Dave Barber, myself, Brendan O'Dowd, Corey Alisi, Tim Jalbert, Rich Lamone, we put together a new bowlers organization called the Candlepin Bowlers Association. Well, we brainstormed a lot of ideas, a lot about last year. Oh, there's the website on the screen, and we discussed really where the state of the game is and what is really needed. And we basically, at least for the short term here, we've really decided on 2 main focal points. One is we have all this data. All these records and stats and things scattered throughout the Candlepin community. We want to put it all into a big pot, get it on a server, let people have access to it. Everybody can see it, not just past records, but current things, like your current leagues, almost like a league secretary kind of thing. That way you can check anybody's average anytime, anywhere. You can do bowler rankings, which I think you've seen come out once already. It's a wide range of things on that front. So far, we have probably over 100,000 data points. And we just got a lot of time to log them in and to get the website with your ability to access it. The second main point is the youth programs. I know there's a couple houses out there that are really, really good at developing youth programs, particularly Academy Lanes in Haverhill. They're really kicking it really well. So what we want to do is basically try to build a blueprint or a framework so that other houses, other new proprietors, other new managers can have something to go on to build a new program. How do you select, coaches? What should their role be? What should the parents' roles be? How do we build a better program, a better coalition to get more kids involved in the game and keep them there? So those are our two main points that we're focused on, especially this year and next year. There's a lot we want to do, but we're starting small with big dreams.
So, always good to have big dreams.
Big dreams.
So, one, let me just say, I love the idea.
Yep.
Love the concept. Dave Barber and I talked about this for, a while ago. We kind of bantered about this, and this was at one of the, a couple of years ago at the Worlds, things like that.
Yeah.
So I know the conversation has been out there. I guess my question is, it's kind of two-part, might even be three-part. Short term, I understand. What's your long term, or is there kind of an end game with this? Is this to kind of go along with the ICBA, kind of not competing against them, but just
I think I know where you go.
Yeah.
In terms of the the state-run associations or the ICBA, we look at it as we're all part of one fleet. We would prefer the governing body, the ICBA, continues to be the governing body. We want to focus mostly on bowlers, youth bowlers, the casual bowler, the league bowler. Get them involved. Keep them. We want lifelong Candlepin bowlers because that's good for the game. And that's really our ship. And we want to all be sailing in the same direction. So we're working with some collaborations. Hopefully, we are in some talks with the ICBA, but we don't have anything set in stone. It's all talk at the moment because we're still so new, and we want to stay focused on our mission before we get too deep making promises to anybody else. So when we get new information with the ICBA or any other state association, we'll make a publication on that front.
Yearly fee?
Yearly fee is $25 a year, and it's a year from when you pay. So it's not like if you pay now, it ends December. No, it'll end 2025. September 9, 2025. So it's a calendar year from when you pay.
Have you given thought to any type of lifetime membership, so to speak? So if someone wanted to pay $250, that would give them a lifetime. And I use that number just because it's a 10-year type thing.
Yeah. That hasn't really been brought up at the moment. It is something that I'm sure will eventually come up. But just right now, we're just with the yearly membership.
Okay. How many people you got signed up so far?
Last time I looked, I think was last week during our quarterly meeting. I think we're somewhere around 78, 80 members. The goal the first year was to try to get to 100 by the year end. So we're almost there. And then, of course, we're hoping for about 20% growth next year. So,
okay. How can I love it? Again, Brian and I have talked about this. Calvin and I have not, so I can't sit there and say that we've talked about this. But we've all thought about having a average go-to database type thing.
Yes.
How can we get, so for example, we're running a 560 every year in April. Now, this year we'll start to use some of the averages from last year. We'll start to use what they bowled actually in that house, similar to what Moncton does for their 560. But if we get someone outside that hasn't bowled, do you foresee this website being the place to go to say, okay, I need to see Calvin's average?
Yes, that is exactly what the whole purpose of the second half of our data collection is. We have the older records, historical data, and then the current data or present data. So you can check people's average in real time. Well, as close to real time as possible.
Right.
Then hopefully within a week or two, the league secretary or however we set it up, they can plug in their scores and you'll have the average. So
right now, how does someone get? I know, and I'll share the sign up, obviously, because I know there's a form to sign up.
Yes.
But once they're signed up, how do they get their scores into
Bless you.
into the system?
That is still something that we're working on. Brandon O'Dowd is heading up that team along with Rich Lamone. They got somebody in line that we're probably going to hire that's going to really help build this. That way we get it right. We'll probably do it like a pilot test before we go too crazy. But it's time, it's effort, and we're hoping to roll this out within the next couple of years. So to everybody, not just in the United States, but also Canada.
Okay. Mona, I think that just answered your question. Mona had said, is this just in New Hampshire or Mass or Maine too? And it's actually going to be anywhere there's Candlepin Bowling.
Anywhere there's Candlepin.
And so I guess I'll lean back to the average question and stuff topic, I guess. Do you have or do you foresee like a certain pool of tournaments that you're going to pull from? Like, so let's say, just for as an example, let's use Josh Daly, who obviously, as you guys noticed, that he had probably 200 more strings than everybody else. So his average would be a lot more accurate than possibly Tim, who's only thrown 11 strings. So, like, do you maybe think there's maybe like a pool, let's say Worlds, Easter Classic, and like some other tournament where the vast majority of people are going to be bowling in that certain tournament? Like, I don't know if there's a breaking point where we could get where it's like, okay, these are like 11 tournaments that we're drawing the averages from, and this is your average.
Yeah, there's a few different ways that we thought of to calculate this. One is like when you said, like tournaments or sanctioned events. So I guess you could call them like your state tournaments, your world tournaments, your house tournaments that are published, I guess. Because the argument sometimes is not everybody's a necessarily good league bowler versus a tournament bowler. Sometimes you get the sandbaggers, I guess you could say, or maybe you really struggle the first half of the year, but then you're really good the second half of the year. So somebody can kind of bring up the argument that maybe we should be like golf and only use the last 8 or 10 weeks because that's more realistic of your current average. So there's a few different arguments that are presented that we kind of really have to debate with the community and to decide what's fair. And maybe we have all this data and the tournament in particular can make that decision. Do they want to use your averages over all the houses you bowl at, or maybe just tournaments, or maybe just the last 10 weeks? Because like with the state, Massachusetts anyway, the average cutoff is like, I think it's March or something. And the state tournament ain't till June. So it's like your average could be totally different by then, or it's totally good for the year, but then you bowl a tournament in November, your average could be totally different. So, there's pros and cons to however you want to figure it out, I guess.
I don't know how to word this question, but it just kind of popped in my head. Because I like where this is going, which is now leading me down the golf route. Brian and I are golfers. Dave, do you golf?
I used to coach golf, so yeah.
Okay, so you golf.
I haven't swung a club in a while, but
yep.
I have.
So the gin.
Yep.
I can go to TPC Boston, and I can have a gin because of what I play in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
That can then be manipulated for that course because of
correct
the slope and the rating
and everything else. Yeah.
So can you foresee a way that down the road that we would be able to have that type of gin, which is, for those that want it, it's GHIN. It's the Golf Handicap Index, and I forgot what the
N stands for.
the end. It might be part of index. I don't know. Do you foresee us being able to do something like that? Because let's face it, we've all gone to some quote tough houses, and we've all gone to quote fast houses and whatnot. So, what are your thoughts on potentially going down that route?
It has been brought up as far as the gin goes. I believe in a gin, you yourself, the golfer, goes to the terminal at the golf course or online or on your phone, and you type in, you enter your score.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go that route, that's kind of up to the individual bowler. Or maybe we could have a league secretary do it. There's, we're still kind of brainstorming something that we'll have to work out with the developer and the community. But that seems like a pretty viable option that we're kind of steering towards, because I think it's just the easiest. If you, the bowler, want to keep track of it. But in terms of verifying your average, who's stopping somebody from inputting the wrong score? There's nobody. So it's kind of a catch-22. But that is a potential option.
I think where I would go with that is there a way that we can adjust averages in certain houses? Like, you would receive less spins bowling in a faster house than you would in a slower house. Is there a
Right.
way that we can do that? Maybe take the top 10 bowlers and then take their average, what they average in a particular house versus what their overall average is. And I guess it's more. Tim, were you going with a more of like how do we handicap the bowling houses?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a big. Look, when I was bowling, I didn't like to bowl in handicap events.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay, most scratch bowlers, what I call scratch bowlers, aren't big fans of the handicap events, but handicap events are not bad. Like there's some really good ones out there. So if we had something similar to a gin where you can handicap a house, then the handicap becomes a little bit more equitable. Okay. I may be, let's say Calvin is a scratch, if he's a scratch golfer here, but if he's a scratch bowler here, but then he goes to, I don't know, Central, and let's say Central, he's a +4. Well, it becomes a little bit more equitable when you start looking at things like that. Hold on, got a couple of questions here, so let's.
That's the software, Tim, that they use for
No, there
scoring.
is.
Yeah. Could that be used to help with that type of?
It's possible. I don't know how cross-functional it is, and in terms of integration would work. I'm not necessarily a software guy. I'm more of a business and logistics guy. But Brendan would probably be able to answer that.
Well,
more than me would.
Is that Brendan in chat, or who's Candlepin Corner? Is that Corey in chat?
Yeah, I don't think it's Brendan. So
I think it's Brendan, isn't it?
No, I think it's Corey. At least
is it Corey?
Corey.
Okay.
I think that's where we need to go, and that's kind of what I was saying. Like you take like the top guys' averages in that house compared to what they overall average, and you can get the inputting the data. There should be a formula you could punch into the program to spit out some differences and give you the data. But that's way
it's
beyond
all
me.
about those data points. If you don't have them, you can't. You don't have any.
Right.
And I mean, you could just look. You could use like Men's Worlds as an example. When we look at say last year where it was at Fairlanes and what high average was like 127 or something like that, and then this year we're going to Lita, and if the high average is like 131, then you'd have your point of like, okay, well, Moncton is 4 pins slower than Lita, right? Like you could do it based on that. Like you could.
Whoever thought we'd say that?
Right, I know.
Well,
Trust
I mean,
me.
in this also right here, I think if I'm drawing a blank, but I think that's Sean, isn't it? Isn't this Sean Sears?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll just call him Wicked Fingers.
Wicked Fingers. That can use the handicap houses by comparing bowlers who are in multiple houses, which again is more data points. So I think it is. I think it makes sense. But we've got to get to that point. And to get to that point, we need more people. God, I was right. It's Sears. I think I'd know by now. So we need more people to be a part of this.
Yeah, we just need more people, more data points. Because right now, logging all this typing it all in order to generate these algorithms and these scores, it takes time, effort, and we're all doing the data entry for free. So it's pretty time consuming. So like I said, that's why we're hoping to roll this out within a couple of years in full. Hopefully the pilot program sooner. But I think that's more a realistic timetable.
Just saying, I haven't been contacted for any Canadian data. Just an FYI, nobody.
Yeah, we got so much U.S. data coming out of our good old basement full of it.
Nobody sent me any messages saying, "Hey, where's our Canada averages?" Just saying.
So that leads us to a point. Does a Canadian average?
Can I count for the exchange rate,
Tim?
Is there an exchange rate?
So so my average is like 114 in Canada. It'll be 112 in America, 110. I like it.
If you bowl it
I
up,
like
it. Augusta, yes, it will.
Yeah, right.
And Corey's right, Calvin.
Yep.
Send it to Barber, send it to O'Dowd, and they'll get it to input.
Hey, man. Why am I doing all the work? This isn't my crap.
You need to help make it move, Calvin.
And
everyone pitches in.
Wrong one.
Many hands makes for short work. You've never heard that?
So Caitlin then says, what about houses like CPL upstairs versus downstairs, or houses with sides like Academy versus, like Academy, because there's not many houses with sides anymore.
Right. But the thing is, like with that, like I get what she's saying, but for the most part, Academy, we only use the middle part.
Except for the Pro Series uses the left side.
Which is why I don't think leagues and stuff should count towards your average. I think
you treat it as a different house. If you're bowling your entire league on the left side, that would just be Academy, League 1, left. And we know it's in the left side. That's a different house. Then you have Academy middle. Those, lanes would be treated as a different house.
There you go, Calvin.
No.
You're in.
No, that doesn't sound work for free.
All in favor of the King of the North being the ambassador of the North.
Work for free? Whoa. I need a contract. I need
welcome to America.
Payment deals.
Dak, you don't need anything. Just play.
Well, so why wouldn't league? So Calvin, I'm gonna argue with you a second. Why wouldn't league count?
Because, like Dave said, some people sandbag or are better in tournaments than they are in leagues. So I'll use myself for an example. In leagues, I think I averaged 1 year. I think I averaged like 117 or 118. I went in as an under at Mixed Worlds and averaged 129.
So you're sandbagging.
No, I'm just a better tournament bowler than I am a league bowler.
All right, we'll complicate it a little bit, but we'll take it a step further. In the circumstances where you are bowling a scratch event, you would only take scores that were based on scratch events. So that is where if you were bowling in if you had like an open knockout, you would say, okay, we don't take your league, the scores that are handicapped. We take your Pro Series, your Men's Worlds, your Easter, your Mixed Worlds, those only in that pool.
Right. Which is why I asked that question originally, saying where
it's
do we draw?
Filter. You just filter out certain strings.
Or you could be like the Gin, which throws out your low scores and your high scores.
Yeah.
Right.
that to me makes more sense. Is that
Mm.
well, the gin takes your previous 10. I think it's your previous 10 scores.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'm just trying to think it through.
Don't think, Tim, and hurt your head.
You're not wrong.
Look at the smoke.
There's a lot of things that hurt my head, and that's one of them. I lost my train of thought. I think we know where I was going there. You'd have to have a true handicap system with bowling. You would have to throw out scores as they come in, meaning 10 new scores came in. Your last, maybe it's your previous 40 that you're using.
So this is how the gin is calculated. Once you have 20 scores in your scoring record, your handicap index is calculated by first averaging the best 8 score differentials out of your most recent 20 scores. This value may be adjusted due to built-in safeguards. When you submit an exceptional score, which is 7 strokes or better than your handicap, this is golf, obviously, or your 8 of your 20 is 3 or more strokes above your low. So they basically prevent sandbagging in that way.
So basically, you just have to figure it out. Figure it out
You
from a
take your
bowling standpoint.
You average your 8 best or your 8 middle way, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, right. All the points that you brought up have been discussed, and I think it's like
to death. Right?
It's like which one do we really want to choose, or do we just want to have all these data points, and then the individual tournament can choose which metrics they want to go by. I think that is probably the simplest way to start, and then as the community gets more involved, we get more members, maybe we can go to what you said with the gin, maybe the last 40 scores throughout the high and low, go from there.
And Sears is right. We got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Got to make it simple.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I would love to have Utopia right off the bat,
wouldn't we all?
we got to get there.
Gratification.
Well, we're in the instant gratification world,
right?
So
to get to Corey's comment right above that, you don't have to limit it. My thought, maybe I'm way off, and if I am, I'm sorry. I know I'm not a part of the discussions you guys have had. You could take everyone's scores, but for those bowlers that are bowling in like a scratch tournament, you could filter out their handicap league scores and only the scratch scores they've submitted to calculate a true average if you needed one.
Well, that's what you should be inputting anyway, is their scratch score.
Right, but if they bowl in a handicapped league, like what Calvin is saying, this is addressing what Calvin said. Some people sandbag in those handicapped leagues. So if you only take their scratch scores from scratch tournaments, that kind of prohibits the sandbagging scores from getting in there.
I see what you're saying. I'm a fan of just inputting the scores.
Yeah.
Minus a scratch. So if it's a scratch league or scratch.
Okay, maybe I'm not explaining. You put in your scratch scores. Yep. But if those scores came from a handicapped league, they would not be considered when you're calculating a average for a scratch tournament. Only the scores that you bowl in a scratch league or tournament would be calculated. People are more often to sandbag in a beer league than they are in a scratch tournament.
No, I get that. I'm just trying to figure out. We all know the folks, again, if you're a golfer, you all know the folks that we would consider sandbaggers. Right? I mean, and I'm just saying, we have all played golf with people that have, they go and say, I'm a 15 handicap, and they go out and shoot 78. And it's like, really?
Sure.
Yeah.
Really?
You just made a 20-foot snake and made it look easy. No, you ain't no 15.
Really, you just piped it, 280 down the middle with a slight draw, and then on a dogleg right, just cut it around the no, like we all know that. So I'm trying to figure out from a bowling standpoint how to input scores. You're not going to stop sandbagging, but you're not. Other than to have a scratch, other than to have a scratch tournament, that's the only way that you can stop sandbagging, because it is what it is. I'm just saying, if we lost my train of thought. If we input the scores as they come in, and again, I don't know how to do this. I'm just trying to talk it through. So, Brian, you and I have bowled enough together that if we go, let's say we're bowling, Thursday night in Augusta, and I'm bowling, right, before my back issues. If I went out and threw a 580, I mean, you wouldn't say I was sandbagging. I had a bad night.
Right, yeah.
But I'm still going to input those scores.
Correct.
So how do you differentiate between someone that you think is sandbagging? And that's what I mean by you just have to input everything. And it's you throw out your low X amount of scores. It's the only, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can cut this cake. Some say let it just be cumulative. You take your beer league scores and you take your tournament scores, and your average is probably going to be somewhere in the middle, so that there's not going to be too much variance, because it'll be kind of in the middle. Or, like I said, you can take your most recent 20 scores or 30 scores, and that'll probably be more realistic to where you are now. Like if you just enter a new tournament. So there's a few different arguments to make, and you guys have made the same arguments that we've talked about before. So it's, it's the more data we have, the more we can play with the real numbers in real time in our algorithm and in our database, and try to figure out, which methodology works best to get a more realistic average of what you're capable of. So
I, again, love the idea. Yeah. I want utopia.
Yeah.
And I think we all do, but I'm just, and I think Sears meant, to start, we just got to get the data points. You got to get the people in there. You got to get the data points. If I were bowling, I would absolutely join. Unfortunately, I'm done bowling, so for me, joining doesn't really do a whole lot for me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Other than supporting, supporting the program, supporting the. Sorry, my Big Blair is trying to say hi.
I don't know if we touched on this. What does the $25 give the people?
Right now, it's this money really goes towards these building blocks, and the people who have paid, we're gonna give them something really nice when this thing goes live. We're still thinking about what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be something really nice. Could run a tournament. They could get in it for free, like a members only tournament. They don't have to pay. They could get, there's a whole bunch of different ideas that we got planned to give them something. Because this first year, the people who have paid, like myself, you're not getting you're really helping to build this, to help us out. Because, it's not something that we want as a community. We know it's not necessarily for everybody the first year, but it's the foundation. And for those of us who are paying to help lay this foundation, you're gonna get something nice.
Okay. Just, because Tim kind of brought it up when saying, I'm not in bowling, so why pay for it? So, I mean, for example, Tim could pay because it is $25, but it's like, you're trying to get people to sign up. You're trying to get people to pay to help build this. So, like, in most examples out of this new world that we have, like, everybody wants something for what they're getting.
Right.
So, like, what are they getting out of this $25 is basically.
Right. Yeah, everybody that's pretty much signed up are all are mostly all your pro bowlers. They know what we are, they know what we're about, they know what we're trying to do, and they're trying to support. So we're going to give something back to them, for sure.
And in the grand scheme of things, $25 really, I don't know how this is going to sound, but Jesus, I just said it in my head. It sounded elitist, but $25 in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of money.
No.
When you think
like
of what
5
we
cups
pay,
of dunk.
when we think of when you think of what we pay to bowl leagues, when we think of what we pay to bowl tournaments, when you think about what we pay to do all of these extra things, $25 really isn't a ton. And I do want to address one thing real quick, Mark. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you, but I didn't want to interrupt. I would not call you a sandbagger because your average was 88 ending in May in Sanford, but your tournament average was 96 for one. Again, that was yesterday in an ACT of 105 because you've only bowled a few strings in that. So no, I wouldn't call you a sandbagger. Sandbagging, just so if Mark, not just for you, but for anyone, and this is my definition of a sandbagger because we've all seen it. I'm going to use the Mixed Worlds as an example. Okay, Mixed Worlds has a under 120 cap, so meaning you can only have 2 bowlers over 120. I have heard and I have seen other bowlers have some really bad nights when it comes close to that time frame, and all of a sudden their average dips below 120. Okay, that to me is sandbagging when someone is purposely throwing pins away, when they're purposely throwing a ball in the gutter, when they're purposely throwing the ball left-handed when they're right-handed, not because they're mad, but because they made the joke, haha, look at me sandbag, I'm going to get my average below whatever it is. So, no, I would not say that you are sandbagging at all. Okay? I just wanted to address that real quick. It had nothing to do with the CBA. I just wanted him to know that we weren't ignoring it. So, no, and Dave, I love the idea, or I love the thought. I want this to succeed because for years, Brian and I have lamented about the state of bowling here in Maine, and what we get for our money or lack thereof. When we pay, Brian, what was it that you and I were paying to bowl in that way back? This was a few years ago now. I don't know what it is now, but it was almost $100 to get in. It was like the teams, men's teams, and we won. And we lost money.
Yeah, we bowled the men's teams. You had to pay for both handicap and scratch. It worked out to be like $85 for both. And then I think we won like $75 a piece.
That's I don't even know how to respond to that.
Yeah. I made my thoughts known to the certain people in the main
powers that be at the time.
Yep, powers that be at the time. I have a lot of respect for the majority of the proprietors. I can't think of one right off the top of my head that I don't respect. But at least in Maine, we bowlers have to remember the Maine State Candlepin Bowling Association is a proprietors bowling association, not a bowlers association. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's what it's been for as long as I can remember. So to have our own bowlers association, really hope this goes off the ground because this could have some really positive ramifications for the state of Candlepin bowling. Just my 2 cents worth. So,
Yeah, just so everybody knows, we are a 501c3, so all our financial documents are fully disclosable. So you get to see them on our website at the end of our fiscal year when we publish them. So you know exactly where the money goes, who it goes to, and what it's for. So like I said, the money that comes in now is used for our foundation to help us build this. You get to see it, you get to confirm it, and you get to decide whether or not you want to keep chipping in. So just wanted to say that.
excellent. I had no idea that you guys were a 501c3, and that actually changes the way things are. And honestly, I will probably be one of the ones that signs up, even though, again, I'm not bowling. So I think it's extremely valuable. And I hope more and more people understand that. And I hope more and more people see it and understand. And I really hope you get in with some proprietors that understand it and get it out to their bowlers.
Yeah, that's the ultimate mission. So,
if they understand that this is not a competing venture against the ICBA, damn, this could have some good things for the game.
Yeah.
Questions? Anything? We're kind of up against the hour here, so
yep.
Dave, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Talking about the CBA. That was some great insight into what you guys are trying to do. I will put the link in everything. So I'll make sure that the link's there. I'll make sure that, the way to sign up is there and things like that. So,
thank you. Appreciate it.
Any questions, folks, please reach out to Dave Barber, Rich Lamone, who else
Brendan
is on?
O'Dowd, Corey Alisi, Tim Jalbert.
Actually, I've got a question before we end.
Okay.
So you guys are all kind of located right down in that Massachusetts area. Have you thought about a board of directors that is maybe a couple from New Hampshire, a couple from Maine, a couple from Canada? So it's...
Well, we would love to.
Not regional. Right now it's regionalized.
Yes. I know Corey's from New Hampshire.
Yeah.
We'd like to get, more diversity in across the different states because different perspectives matter. But you got to want to volunteer because nobody gets paid. So it is a time commitment and, there is some work for it. So if you're really interested, it's a 2-year commitment. Reach out to us.
Quarterly, like once a quarter, you guys meet.
There's once a quarter meeting for sure, and you might get assigned some work during that quarter, and we're expected to deliver not just to ourselves but to all our members. So there is expectations that you got to meet. So
okay. I didn't even know about that. I'm sorry, Brian just kind of mentioned. Did we talk about Craig beating someone 3 strings in a row where Craig did not have a head pin in his rack?
That's easy. Play the 2 or 3 pin all game. That's easy. The head pin's hard.
Well, you're used to that.
That's how I bowl.
Yeah.
That's how I bowl.
That's exactly. That's so easy.
So anyway, I will put the link out there, Dave. Thank you again for coming on. We appreciate having you on. For folks, for any other questions, please reach out to CB. You can find them actually. You guys are on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's under.
Yeah, we are on Facebook. Candlepin Bowling Association.
The Google sign-up sheet is on there as well. But I will make sure that the link gets out there with this post and everything else. So.
Thank you.
Appreciate you having you on, Brian. Actually, folks, for any questions, comments, concerns, you can find us at rippingtherackpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter, even though we never use it. Brian, where else, with a disclaimer, where else can they hear us and see us?
Well, Tim, if they liked what they heard, they can hear us on Anchor, Breaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever else you listen to your podcast mediums. And if you don't like what you heard, just go sign up for the Candlepin Bowlers Association anyways. Don't listen to us. Just go sign up.
Is that the disclaimer?
That's the disclaimer this week. Just go sign up.
Okay, just go
give
sign up.
Dave and all the other guys $25 and let's get this thing going.
Okay. All right, guys. Have a great night. Thank you for listening.
too.
Thank you for being here. And go Pats.
Go
Go Cowboys.
Pat.